just tell us how you're doing that, so that some of the entrepreneurs here can leverage it.
Sure, thanks. So, we started our Center for Technology Commercialization back in 2007, and the whole thing started when, Lockheed Martin Corporation from the US, they approached us, and they were looking for, to support Indian innovators and startup companies, and, as part of their CSR initiative, and they wanted to help, them get to the market. So, we started this program called the India Innovation Growth Program in 2007, and FICCI jointly with Lockheed, and we brought in University of Texas as our knowledge partner in that, because they have an established global commercialization group. And so what we thought is, we started advertising about this program, hunting for good startups from India. And in 2007 we got 107 applications, and then there's a patented process through which we screen these applications, and we do technology validations. We go to the market, talk to customers, talk to potential VCs, talk to angel investors, and the end consumers, and then we kind of do a market research on the selected technologies after we filter them out, and each year we select some or 30 odd startups. And then we compile a market analysis report for these startup companies. So FICCI and University of Texas, does the entire work. And then these investors, we provide them a 1-week advanced training on different modules on technology commercialization. It includes venture financing, venture marketing, technology commercialization strategies, etc. And then these 50 innovators come again to 30 or 50, depending on the quality of applications that we get. They come and they pitch themselves in front of a jury, and this jury comprises again of technologists, VCs, and end consumers, industrialists. And finally, we award, depending again on the quality of applications, each year on an average, we award, 30 innovators and startup companies. And then, we assign a business development manager for each of these startup companies, and we will handhold these companies and help them, get to the market. So FICCI being an industry chamber, we have, reach out to over 83,000 companies directly or indirectly to our partner chambers. We have 89 joint business councils across the globe. So we help, these innovators get to the market through our established network. And of course, we work very closely with the Indian Angel Network and the government. So that is how we do it. And, I'm very happy to announce that, next year onwards, we are bringing Stanford on board. And, they're bringing a lot of expertise with them. They have also supported, some of the, great startups. So, we would encourage, and, we would want you to come down to FICCI, and, we can have a separate chat on that.
Great. Great. So with that, I'll open the panel, because I can keep asking you questions. But the best thing is to get the entrepreneurs to ask you questions. So please. And if they don't ask, then I'll ask you questions. So if you have questions, please raise your hands. Yes.
So none of the tech, maybe this may not be valuable for everybody else, but...
No, please go ahead. Yeah.
I moved back from New York a year ago, and I was tired of the corporate world. I was in healthcare, and when I moved here, I always wanted to be a creative entrepreneur. So when I moved back, I decided to look into my creative skills. And 1 year ago, I started a company, actually launched this year, called Chakriti Chocolates. But really the most healthiest organic chocolates you could get in India, which I felt we were lacking. I did it for a year on my own, everything on my own, and it did very, very well. In fact, a few master chefs have recommended now, and they're on my Facebook. They have given their verdict. I have over 149 good customers, everything. But so now I'm going to the next stage. I just rented a place today. But I'm very afraid of taking funding for some reason from venture funders. I'm still contemplating whether to take funding or to try to manage it again on my own. What tips can you give, and how? I mean, we're just so scared of all the terms and conditions, but I do want to grow it. I do want to do it best. I do think that it deserves a chance. This is a simple question.
Maybe you can just address it.
So probably should not hear from the devil himself, right?
But Shailesh,
as the entrepreneur, the worries are the raising money.
So I think, so I think there are two different aspects, and both of us, the VC and the entrepreneur who have raised money, will have different perspectives on it. And there are, I totally agree with you. There are a lot of doubts before raising the money, whether you should do it, not that. And if you search the internet, there are a lot of horror stories that you get to read about how you lost control of your company and whatnot. See, so I think one should raise money, and the primary reason for that is, the if you have a good idea, one thing that you can be guaranteed of is that you are not the only person with that bright idea. There will be more people working on that. You need to move quickly. You need to build a team, and the team may work for you, work with you for a short time, with pay cuts and all that. But eventually, if you want to retain a good team, you need to be working on at market salaries. There should be a good upside for people to join you. So if you're working on some big idea which can get very, very big, I think it is you should definitely raise money. And at what time, it is up to you. You want to do a proof of concept, maybe get slightly better valuation. But I think even that is slightly over discussed topic as to how much when you should how much you can delay the funding and all that, right? You're running out of time every day. The opportunity that is there today will not be there 6 months down the line. So if you're getting a reasonable deal, there's nothing called best deal. You're getting a reasonable deal. You're getting getting on board a VC firm that you are comfortable with. I mean, just take the call and move ahead. But if, on the other hand, if you are planning to run a lifestyle business, you want to do it for fun, right? It's kind of very aligned with your hobby, and you are not really doing it for making money. You just like doing it. You don't have to raise funds, because funds come in for a very specific time duration. So they will invest money for 4 years, 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, and they'll want to have an exit. And when they're talking about an exit, they're looking for an upside of about, early stage funds will be looking at 4 to 5 times the money. The late stage funds will be looking at 2 to 3 times the money, and that much time period, like 3 years 3 times or 2 years 2 times kind of a thing. So you have to know what kind of return your business can give. How big you want it to be. Do you want it to be a $100 million, $500 million business? Then yes, I think you should take VC money.
Great.
Great, I think I got
See, first, I would like to ask you a follow-up question. What is your fear with the VC? I mean, you said I fear, but what is that fear?
What I had heard from another session was the terms and conditions and how they could take over. Especially, those are the things which I mean, of course, I do think it's a great product. I do want to make it really big. I do think there's potential. I've done my whole research in it, and for 6 months. But in general, I guess I don't have enough knowledge. I think that's where it is.
So, with VC's first point is that they are not only money, right? Money is one big part that they give, but it is they bring in connections, they help you to go to market. So when you decide that when I want funding or not, it is based on whether because of money and because of contacts is the speed getting hampered. Like for example, I delayed funding for quite some time, and later on I realized that if I want to make a global company, I cannot support it through service. Maybe I will generate 1 crore, 2 crores, 5 crores slowly through service, but I will lose 1 year in that. Normally in technology space, 3 years is the time when the technology takes a turn. If I spend 1 year just earning money and then spending it, so I would lose speed. So speed is one very, very important part. Another part is the fear which like lots of people have is that you lose some equity. I would like to again give an example. Only 100% of a lemonade company and 1% of Coca-Cola. What would you like to do? I mean, if you have 100% of a lemonade company, what will you do with that all 100%, right? If that money and that their contacts and their experience, and they also help in hiring also to bring right people on board. If it is taking you from 1x to 100x, then it is worth doing that. Of course, it is a little intimidating when you see a term sheet or a shareholders agreement, because just understand from their side, they meet you for 1 hour, for 2 hours and 3 hours, and they have to decide whether we will fund, right? Lots of people, in fact, do their day jobs and do moonlighting and say that I want funding. Now they say that you can't quit, and you are not ready to take take a risk, but you are telling me in that in 1 hour of our discussion we should give you 5 crores, right? So So it is not that they are here to take your company. They want the founder to go ahead. Without founder, there is no company. They don't have enough time that some people that there are shark fund, we see that they will take over your company. They don't have time actually. So they want you to scale. They want you to do well. Suppose for some reason down the line you are not performing and a situation comes in that they bring another CEO, then it's actually worth it. Because you could not do something, then it's better to pass it on to somebody else.